What's up everyone, it's Josh here, and today I'm going to be showing you my latest build. It's from the short story Omega Squad Targets by Karen Travis. Now I'd like to thank Legoing Legion 458 for recommending this scene in my Republic Commando hard contact video, which you can find here. But before we get into the build, I wanted to announce something exciting. I'm giving away 3 501st Battle Packs when I reach 150 subscribers. Entering is super easy, it's 3 simple steps. Like this video, comment on the video, and subscribe to the channel. If you want additional entries, you can like my Instagram post, and then for every 3 people that you tag in the post, you'll gain an additional entry. Make sure you leave your YouTube username in the comments so that way I know which account to associate the extra entry with. Now the physical set giveaway will only be for those that live inside of the US, but if you're outside of the US, don't worry. If you win, I'll send a digital Visa gift card with the set value in US dollars loaded onto it. Now let's jump into the build. In the short story, Omega Squad is called in to deal with a hostage situation at the customs hub at the spaceport. So first they send in a Jedi to go and negotiate with captors, and the captors find a hidden camera that Omega Squad asks him to wear to try and get intel, and then they kill him and throw him out with a grenade or a thermal detonator. It's not clear exactly what it says, a booby trap on his body, and Fee jumps on the booby trap to protect the police officers who are right next to him. I'll read the quick description real quick. It says, Came, that's the Jedi, wasn't moving. Niner put out a cautious hand to pull back the Jedi's robe, and Fee saw a flicker of light and heard Niner catch his breath. Booby trap, counting down. Fee didn't think. The police officers were right on top of him, unprotected. He flung himself flat on Kane's body, eyes tight shut so he wouldn't see the shattered face, waiting long fractions within fractions of seconds before a shockwave lifted him like a body blow and raw noise filled his helmet. So I tried to depict that scene of Fee jumping on the grenade, the explosion coming out from under him protecting the police officers. Now since this was a small build, only 16 by 16, I was only able to include Niner, Ordo, and a couple of police officers because there wasn't enough space to include Cal, the rest of Omega Squad, and some more police officers and emergency vehicles. Now earlier in the description it talks about the setup. It says that there's blast shields and emergency vehicles, and then the police are kind of staying behind the blast shields in the safe zone, and the emergency vehicles, they kind of like a perimeter set up around the customs hub entrance. It says that there's 2 doors, and they left them control of the doors to make them feel safer, so they didn't do anything stupid, they being the captors, that is. So this scene, I wanted to capture the doors, the perimeter, and then obviously Fee jumping on the grenade. Those were the 3 essential things that I wanted to capture. And I thought it turned out pretty well in terms of getting everything into a 16 by 16 plate that I wanted to without making it feel too crammed. Using the elevation of the floating speeder definitely helped, otherwise it would have been really crammed. I don't think the speeder probably was floating, but I wanted to include it, and that was the only way to get it on there without making the entire build feel way too cluttered. I built the speeder from an unused 501st Battle Pack. I wanted to only use parts from the 501st Battle Pack just to challenge myself. I'm not great at making vehicles, and so it was a challenge to myself to try and design something that looked good and fit in with the scene, but only using those limited parts. Now the building, there's nothing special about it. It's just a normal building. I find these cutaway sections of buildings hard to build well. I mean, they end up just looking like blocks, and so that's something I want to kind of experiment with in the future, how to do cutaway sections of buildings, because I don't have a big enough piece collection to do entire buildings for the most part. So how do I do these cutaway sections and get them to look better and a little less blocky? For the roof too, I wasn't sure how to finish it because it's Coruscant, so it's not going to have like a normal sloping roof like you'd see on a house. And so I think that like usually in cities, like you think of skyscrapers, I think of like flat top roofs. So I tried to like flatten off the roof without using gray tile, because gray, there's already so much light gray tile in there. I thought it would not look great. So I used the CMF minifigure plates and then did the crimson stripe down the middle of it to add a little more color, because it's kind of a very gray and black mock. So adding those crimson dark red pieces on top, I thought brought out some extra color in the build. So I used 2 Omega Squad troopers from American Brick Store, and then I used Captain Fordo from Jay's Little Things to be Ordo, because they're both ARC Trooper captains, and so the color is just going to denote their rank, not any special paint job to delineate them in terms of like Legion or, customized armor. The ARC Trooper captain was just the red paint job. So I was able to use Fordo to be Ordo, and their names are so similar anyway. Overall, I was really satisfied with how this build turned out. I thought that it captured the feel of the scene and was able to depict Fee jumping on the grenade and just like the police officers being scared and everyone else ducking for cover as there's a booby trap body being thrown out. And yeah, I thought the feel of the build captured the spirit of the book, and I'm excited to keep working on other Republic Commando depictions of scenes because they're not really depicted in media that much, and so it's like a blank slate to work with. I get to imagine it based off of the text, and I love doing that. It's like creating a painting or a picture. I really enjoyed this build. It wasn't super complicated. It was a rather simple build. I didn't experiment with too many new techniques, but it was really fun nonetheless. I think in this build the primary focus is on the minifigure posing, and I really liked how it turned out with Fee covering up the Jedi body and the explosion coming out of the body. I thought that turned out really well. I'm also not great at building vehicles. I've never really had a knack for doing that, and so challenging myself to build that emergency speeder with only the 501st Battle Pack parts that I had laying around was hard, and I thought that it turned out really well for what I had to work with. Before we wrap up, I just want to remind you to like this video, comment on this video, and subscribe to the channel for a chance to win one of 3 501st Battle Packs. And guys, make sure that you're subscribed, and if you want, turn on notifications so you don't miss new videos, because we got some great content coming soon. We've got a May the 4th LEGO Star Wars VIP shopping day. We have some more American Brick Store content. We're going to do some reviews on maybe a set or two, and then some more of the minifigures. And then we're going to have the Republic Commando building series continuing. We've done Hard Contact, we've done Omega Squad targets, and now I'm rereading 000 so that I can determine which scene I'm going to build from there. I'm still not sold on a scene from 000. If you have a favorite scene from that book, drop it in the comments below, because like I said, I got the idea for this build from Legoing Legion 458 on my Republic Commando Hard Contact video. So definitely open to suggestions, and I'll try and make it come to life if it's a good scene and I agree with it. And guys, as always, blown away by the support for the channel. Really appreciate you all for tuning in every week. And you know the deal, dropping new videos every Monday, usually around 4 p.m. Eastern, schedule depending. So stay tuned. I'll catch you guys next week.